How are you spending your most precious asset? Today on the Landlord Coach Daily Is Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Landlord Coach Daily Is Show. My name is Mark Dolfini, Landlord Coach and host of the Landlord Coach Daily Is Show. It is really nice to see you all. I have had a really busy week. Most of it has been trying to figure out how this latest Windows 10 update has completely jacked up my computer. But you know what? Whatever. I'm here and it's good to see you. So no complaining, all good energy, all positive vibes. Maybe we can all pour some salt around my computer and keep the demons away. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about how are you spending your most precious asset? And it's probably not what you're thinking I'm going to be talking about. Well, maybe it is. Maybe if you've been watching the show a little bit, you'll understand where I'm about to go. But for those of you who'd like to get a copy of this rag right over here, the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0. What do you think the most precious asset is that I consider? Anyway, we'll talk about that here in just a second. But if you are interested in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0 for free, just cover shipping, you can hit on there and get that sent right to you. So really, what are we going to be talking about? What is your most precious asset? Okay, so it was... I've been getting some, watching a couple of people giving advice on some forums, on some landlord forums and things like that. And some advice is actually quite good. I was like, wow, this is, it's nice to see people who are, going and, and learning to value things that are most important and not just trying to be focused on, getting 100 rental units or 50 rental units. I don't know why it's always in increments of 25, but whatever it is, right? It just always seems to be that way. So some of the advice, however, is a little bit cringeworthy. And what a lot of the advice that I see is coming from people who I hate to cast anybody into any sort of into put them in any sort of pot, but it almost seems like it's mental ambulance chasing that's going on. That it's like we don't get enough stimulation from life, so we have to go out and create drama for whatever reason. I don't really understand why, but it's one of those things that I was just like, wow, why is that? Why did they answer the question that way? And I'll give you a quick example. There was a couple people who were wondering if they should be managing their own properties. And I thought, wow, that is, some people should, some people can, and some people definitely should not, because they just don't have, either they don't have the time or they don't really have the skill set or risk tolerance to do that. So I thought, all right, but it's not, that wasn't the only question. The other set of questions that I see in these different forums that are going on, or, video blogs or whatever, is a lot of different jobs that is, can we paint? Should I paint the apartment ourselves? Should we do all these other things? Should I clean the apartments myself? Should I, these different things? And what I'm noticing is that no one's ever asking about, what about the other stuff? What about, should I be answering the phone myself? Should I be going and opening the mail myself? What are the things that people are, quite frankly, what are the little jobs that they're creating for themselves? And I don't know, some of the information that I see people seeking, it just doesn't flatly make sense to me. And I'm thinking, why in the world, why would you want to spend, if the whole point of getting into the rental business was to create more freedom in their life, why are they looking to create another job for themselves? Why are they looking to replace that freedom that the property can give them with a job? And arguably a very low-paying job, right? Well, we're just trying to save some money. Okay, well, why didn't you underwrite that property up front? What I mean underwrite. Why didn't you analyze the cash flow of that property up front, so when you do have the property, that you can hire someone else to do the leasing for you? Maybe hire a a realtor that just has their license, that's looking to make a name for themselves, that is also trained on fair housing law, they might go out and do that for, a few $100s, because they're probably not making much, if anything at all. So they may be able to go out and maybe, connect with some people. I mean, I've done that several times with realtors in the area who are new, that maybe want to build their base. They want to, get out there and just get in contact with the public. And they are familiar with fair housing law and things like that. And I fill out a commonly asked questions or frequently asked questions and say, hey, if they ask these questions, this is how you answer them, right? That's in alignment with my lease. They're not just, door unlockers. I mean, but you can even use a Rently box for that if you wanted to just go automated. So I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, why are these people giving advice who are, arguably they're getting into this so they can create more freedom in their life, freedom of their calendar, yet that's not how they're spending their time. And here it is. I hate when I'm called like a time management expert, because I really don't think that we can manage time. And I'm not an expert in that by any stretch, but I would say I'm not a time management expert. I'm an energy management expert, right? And I hate saying I'm an expert in anything, but I mean, maybe sarcasm. I am an expert in that. But I would say realistically, it's more about managing your energy, managing your intention, managing your focus. And when I'm managing that, and I'm doing really, really well with that, that's fantastic. But it was funny. The other day, I was sitting down, and it was in the middle of the morning, middle of my work morning, and I'm usually pretty well focused. But I, for whatever reason, I didn't sleep well, or Mars was in retrograde, or I don't know, whatever. But all of a sudden, I noticed I got into this wormhole on Facebook, and I looked up at the clock, and I could not hardly believe. I thought the clock was wrong. Because when the last I remembered, I looked at the clock and it was 10:30, and right at that point it was 11:15. I thought, how in the world did I just squirrel away 45 plus minutes? I'm not even really sure how long I was on Facebook, or whatever black hole. Pick your black hole of time. That's time I'm never getting back, and it wasn't time that I felt fulfilled. Like, wow, that was so amazing. I'm so glad I spent that 45 minutes doing that. It was awful. And so it's so easy to get sucked in. It happens to me all the time. And I have to be really careful about that, because I notice when I'm tired, or when I'm weary, or when my willpower might be a little bit low, or, whatever reason, which saps our willpower, that, I got to be careful how I'm spending my most precious asset. Would I have rather spent that 40 minutes, playing video games with our sons, or, hanging out extra time with my bride, or just sitting quietly, whatever, I mean, I could have probably taken a nap in that time. Probably felt more productive the rest of the day. So how are you spending your most precious asset? And that's one of the things that I keep going back to over and over and over, is what I'm doing the highest and best use of my time. Because even now, even though I enjoy doing certain things, it's not always the highest and best use of my time in my workday. Like, I love producing goofy videos. Those are fun. I mean, these I actually do enjoy doing. But at some point, does it make sense for me to do all the editing and doing all the writing of the ad copy and doing all the other stuff that I actually do enjoy doing, but is it the highest and best use of my time from a business perspective? And the real easy metric on that is, once you've determined what a value is for your time, it's a little bit more tricky for entrepreneurs. But let's say that you are getting a steady amount of pay and you are making ends meet. And you can figure out what your rate of pay is, whatever that is. Divide that over how many hours that you're working. And some of you are working 16, 18, 20 hours a day. And that should include commuting time. Even though you're not getting paid from your boss to commute an hour in each direction, or more if you live in the tri-state area and, up in New England, New York area. I mean, if you're not even commuting 90 minutes, you're not even trying. But that 3 hours that you're not getting paid for, you should put that into part of your calculation, because if you were working for yourself or working from home, you wouldn't have that commute. You wouldn't have that time, even though you're not necessarily compensated for it. So what is your hourly rate based on that? Okay, so now you've got this rate. So let's say it's $50 an hour. If you're doing work that you would pay someone else $20 an hour to do, that opportunity cost is $30 an hour. You are now costing yourself $30 an hour every time you do that $20 an hour work. And it's really hard. It was really hard for me to get my mind around that concept. The first time I heard it, I was like, how much would it cost to pay someone to do that? Well, that's exactly what you're paying yourself. I was like, oh God, no wonder I'm broke. And that was a really hard thing for me to swallow, because we're only given so many hours in the day and so much time, so many spins on this rock. I don't want to be doing things that are not the highest, best use of my time, because I'm not good at everything. It's not always in my skill set. So when you're asking yourself, how are you spending your most precious asset? It's not just, are you spending it at work? Are you spending it, but how are you spending it? What are the specific activities that you're doing that you could probably cut away that aren't giving you any sort of return on investment or any sort of actual joy in your life that you could do? And I'll tell you, a lot of things that I was doing, there's a lot of stuff that I was, in my vision. Guess what? Guess what's not in my vision? Spending 6 hours a day on Facebook. Right? I mean, I appreciate Facebook. It keeps me connected with a lot of different people. I earn a living through Facebook and to some degree, but I also have to be really, really careful about the time that I'm spending. If I'm sitting on my couch and I look over and, the rest of my family is on their phone, and what am I doing? I'm doing the same exact thing. So I have to be really, really careful in terms of what, how it is that I'm spending my time, and what I'm, how I'm deliberately, am I educating myself? Am I taking time to get better? Am I better today than I was yesterday? And things like that. So, part of my morning, I spend, reading and praying and doing the things that are going to set me up for the day. But I also have to be really careful, especially as my willpower battery drains throughout the day. I have to be really careful that I don't fall in that trap, because that's the most time that's vulnerable for me. All right, well, that's all I have for today. Again, if I'm going to plug this really fast at landlordcoach.com/videos, really fast, for those of you who are mom and pop investors and are looking for a really good property management software system that's not designed for property managers, but designed for you, the mom and pop investor, go over to rentaware.com, and they will take good care of you. It's a really good platform, and it does not cost you a ton of money. And of course, you can head on over to landlordcoach.com/videos for some free stuff, and you can get a copy of the book, The Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, for just the cost of shipping. And that's all I have for today, everybody. So you guys have a great weekend. It is Friday. I almost forgot. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. And please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Have an awesome day. See you guys next time.